I think we are still waiting also to let in other participants coming step by step. There were a lot registered for today. Of course, they are not all keen to hear my welcoming words, but at least they might be happy to hear what our honored guests today have to say. I would anyway start to introduce in order that we don't lose too much time and get to the point. That is what you want, most probably want. That is what we want. My name is Stefan Moritz. I'm the Secretary General of the European Confederation of SME associations called European Entrepreneurs, CAPME. This is a pan-European lobby organization, if you want, defending the interests of SME and mid-caps in Europe over all sectors. That means we are a cross-sectoral and not political organization, having in mind mainly the difficulties of being a small enterprise that wants to grow, but has to face a lot of difficulties, not only access to markets or access to finance, but also cope with bureaucratic burden, rules, and taxes. And of course, also trying to stand up to the innovations and technological developments which are growingly impact on many businesses down to each retailer, law firm, consultancy companies, manufacturing companies, whatever. Because we are talking about not only, let's say, motors and machines, but also about algorithms and automatized processes, which are more and more, and that's the topic of our meeting today, driven by artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence came out, let's say, to the attention of the mass, most probably also to the attention of many of our member companies, which are, let's say, in the manufacturing field, but also in the services sector. Last year, during 2023, with the, let's say, public launch of ChatGPT, or maybe also already at the end of 2022 for some very attentive observers. But let's say the mass reaction came last year. And many companies, of course, found out that there is something happening that seems to be groundbreaking, that seems to be disruptive, and could be a risk, but also maybe a chance. We are, let's say, the European Confederation of those that see the chances. And that's also why we were happily invited by our member and partner for digital transformation topics like this one, the European Digital SME Alliance, which today, together with us, organized this event. We call it business-to-business matchmaking event. We use here our common platform, SME2B. My colleague Tommaso Librera will explain a little bit more how this works. And we want to present to you some possibilities, pitch them here, but also then give you the possibility to meet more solution providers in the field of artificial intelligence and digitalization, which can help those companies that are also associations and multipliers that would like to promote intelligent solutions across the board, with the session dedicated to business matchmaking that we will run after the speeches this morning, or the fireside chats and pitches. I personally, as let's say, lobbyist, but also person that tries to bring together with our member organizations, like, for example, the European Digital SME Alliance and many others, added value to our member companies, to our member associations. I'm very happy that so many people today decided to join us and to participate to this very interesting session. I think I would like to simply leave you with this invitation. Try to imagine, first of all, that a normal company which is not, let's say, into digital solutions or especially artificial intelligence, does not understand normally what these kind of technologies are for and how they work and what it really requires. But what they are looking for is, of course, to save money, to produce faster, to produce a better quality, to reach out to more clients or better to their clients, and finally also to solve problems that they have, and at the end of everything, to be more competitive and earn more money. And I think that is the point where we all should look at. If we can help the companies to solve or address these issues and help them to win, then we will, of course, get a step forward. And I think the artificial intelligence in particular will be a great game changer for many companies, and small, medium-sized enterprises and mid-caps should not be the last ones to start with. So that's the day now to take this opportunity. We will hopefully in the future do also further events, more sector-specific, and maybe also in different languages in order that we can go a little bit more into depth and showcase other intelligence solutions and specific intelligence solutions for certain sectors. The artificial intelligence offer is already kind of borderless. We have a huge amount of possibilities, and I think there are still more to come once the solution providers dive into the reality of the production and service provisions of companies all around Europe. But that's enough. Welcome, everybody. I would now like to give the floor directly to Mr. Sorry, I forgot. Philip Runge, policy advisor at the Directorate General GROW of the European Commission, the Directorate General which is in charge of industry, SMEs, entrepreneurship, and single market. He is policy advisor for the digital transformation of the industry. Thank you very much, Mr. Runge, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Stefan, for the kind introduction. I think you can hear me? Yes, very good. So thanks a lot. It's a pleasure to be here and to give you the view of the Commission on this very topical and interesting issue. So I would start with a rather pessimistic view from the Digital Decade report, which was published last week. So we see that there is still quite slow uptake of artificial intelligence, cloud and big data among European companies, which is still below the Digital Decade target of 75%. Although we see in certain instances improvements, this is still at odds with what we want to achieve. And what do we want to achieve? Well, if you look at the report from Enrico Letta, which was published in April, he asked for the development of a fifth freedom in the single market. In his view, such a freedom would imply the free circulation of data, knowledge, and innovation, and also the development of artificial intelligence services. In this context, artificial intelligence is not an end in itself, but it's a driver for the single market and also a means to make Europe more resilient and independent. So what would we need to achieve these objectives? First, we need a better awareness and better use and the access to data. As you will know, the development of AI services depends on the availability of data sets, for example, industrial data, which are generated by machines, by connected devices and tools. And we have these tools in the EU. We have developed in the wake of the data strategy, the data spaces, there are contractual templates, etc. However, we note that industrial players still lack awareness of them. And therefore, we need to continue to support the data economy and to provide practical guidance to industry players and especially SMEs, practical guidance on intellectual property, technical assistance. And we received this feedback also at a recent conference on advanced manufacturing in Europe, where the industry suggested to us to set up a data help desk at EU level to help them to make better use of the data spaces that we have for different sectors. Interoperability is still a big topic, so we need to continue working at making these data spaces interoperable, not only in Europe, but also on a global scale. And more generally, we note that when it comes to using data for the industry, there's still an imbalance between the European countries and third countries. So we must ensure that European companies enjoy a level playing field when exchanging data and making business with third countries. The second point, access to infrastructure and to computing power. AI computing capacity grows at a very high rate. We read about 10 times every half to 1 year. And there's a global race for computing infrastructure and for talent. The Commission has just recently opened up the access to the European high-performance computing infrastructure to provide the necessary computing capacity for startups. Just a few weeks ago, the Council has adopted a regulation which makes this possible. And AI startups, but also the scientific community, will have access to these supercomputers in line with union rules and values. It is to be noted that access will only be provided for the development of ethical and responsible AI models. And there are two reasons why we think that this access to this high capacity computing infrastructure is very important. First, supercomputers can accelerate the training of large AI models, and there will be possibilities for the participants to use these supercomputers from 6 to 9 months on average. And secondly, each startup or research organization can achieve cost benefits by using this infrastructure in comparison to commercial platforms. I would like to mention here also that the Commission has launched an experimentation facility in manufacturing, which offers services to AI innovators, and in particular startups and SMEs. The third point that I would like to mention is investment. And here we think that it's especially important to mobilize private investment. Today, a large part of the worldwide venture capital is made available in the US, and here the EU lags clearly behind. So we need to attract investment in European AI startups. And it is essential to bring startups and SMEs together with these private investors. So how can we bridge this financing gap and give incentives to private investments? Here I would like to point out that the European Innovation Council will continue to provide through its accelerator scheme grants, but also equity to support startups and SMEs. The working program for 25 is currently being drafted, and the calls for this EIC accelerator will be published soon. Secondly, the big investment program of the EU, InvestEU, will provide instruments dedicated for venture capital funds to support the scale up of SMEs. And lastly, but not least, my point would be skills. So it is very important to train Europeans to develop AI, to be able to use this AI infrastructure that we want to make available, and to attract also talent. The AI factories that I mentioned at the beginning in the context of the high capacity computing infrastructure will also serve as a training facility for the people which will use them. And in addition, the Commission continues to support the training and skilling and reskilling activities in generative AI, for example, by dedicated masters and doctoral programs. To sum up, these are the four elements where we think EU could do better still to support AI innovators. So data, infrastructure, private investment, and skills. More importantly, of course, it's important to us to listen to you, to listen to the innovators themselves. And that's why I'm very much looking forward to listening to the fireside chat, to the discussions and the pitches today, to learn from you what you think are the obstacles, what are the solutions. And with that, thank you very much for your attention.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Runge, for your intervention. And now, my name is Tommaso Librara. I am the Innovation Manager, European Entrepreneurs CAPME. I will be your moderator today. Sorry. And before moving on to the next session, I would like to give you a brief reminder overview of how our SME2B platform works, and also remind you that soon you will be receiving your personal agenda for your one-to-one meetings of this afternoon. And for now, just to give you like a brief refresher, this is obviously our platform, as you all know, and to access the one-to-one and let's see all the different features, you can go on the events tab, and there you have obviously a very nice and clear explanation of how everything works. And both for the event, but also generally speaking, you can view all the participating organizations, as you can see here, but also individuals that are members of our platforms. You can invite them still now throughout the entire duration of the webinar to one-to-one meetings to connect, network, and discuss possible partnerships. But also you can reach out individually to people through the messaging feature also in any other moment. And another interesting feature for all of you is that you can filter opportunities, both as a provider of opportunities, but also if you're looking for a product, a service, you're looking for expertise in other direction, it's very easy and intuitive to filter out, so you can really connect with whomever you are interested to do business with. So this was a brief overview, and now just to give you an idea, we are going to move on to the fireside chat for digitalization success stories, where we're going to hear some indeed digitalization success stories, which will be moderated by my colleague Giulia Zampedri for the Digital SME Alliance. And then we will move on to a half-an-hour demo session where we will discover different AI solutions, to then wrap up with a little bit of small news about an upcoming initiative that will be very much of interest for both SMEs and digital providers. With then we will move on and open the afternoon with the one-to-one meetings. So without further ado, Giulia, I leave the floor to you.
Thank you so much, Tommaso, and welcome everyone. I hope you're enjoying the event. My name is Giulia Zampedri. I'm Membership Services Manager at European Digital SME Alliance. Today, after we heard the keynote from Mr. Runge and also welcoming remarks from Mr. Moritz, we are diving deep into what digitalization is and how it can happen. So we decided to organize a very brief, but hopefully to the point discussion on how some companies manage to start a digitalization process and digital transformation. So here with me today, I have, taking the paper because I don't want to mispronounce anything, Mr. Hemant Mandapati, CEO of Novo AI. Hello, Hemant.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hi, Julia.
Nice to see you again. And then we have Mr. Tim Neunzig, Project Manager at the Institute for Innovations und Informationsmanagement. Hello, Tim. Welcome. We are a bit late and behind schedule, so we will try to be on point and speed up a little bit. But basically, what I would like to discuss with you today is some digitalization success stories. So in your work, did you see any stories that you would like to share, but also any trends you're seeing in the market and challenges companies are facing? And maybe a lot of content for 15 minutes, but maybe also would like to hear a little bit about your feedback on what Mr. Runge said. So he mentioned that there are 4 elements that we need to support companies. One is data, one is infrastructure, one investments, and one is skills. So if in your opinion, you see that in your work, or if you have anything to add, or if you disagree, so a little bit of everything. Maybe we start from the success stories. So Tim or Hemant, whoever wants to go first.
Maybe I can go first. Thank you for having me here. I'm Hemant Mandapati, CEO at Novo AI, and we are specifically in the field of production and manufacturing. We are a company from Germany, located in Hanover, and we look at what is happening in the industry initially. Right now, if I speak about German market in general, SMEs, German market and production, they are still lacking behind on a lot of technology. We all know how AI is actually changing the way that we are working, making it easy for us to do anything, literally. It's basically reducing human effort. But if you look at production and manufacturing industry, it's still lacking in that sense. It's still the same as 50 or maybe 80 years ago, the same way that we have been working, we are doing the same thing. And especially in Germany, there are cases where in industry, they're still using paper to collect data and then later transfer it to, for instance, Excel sheets where they analyze everything that's going on. And this is tedious, and this is not how things should be moving. And that's where we actually, as a company, provide solution that can basically enable SMEs to start collecting data from their machines and processes, collect them into a single platform where they can build on top of it. And then they can move into, for instance, sustainability or even optimization. So a kind of sustainability is kind of a long-term goal, I would say, where optimization stands first. And kind of that is what we're providing. And as Mr. Runge already proposed, these are actually biggest hindrances for SMEs to get into, for instance, data. There are open data platforms out there, but more or less for AI or a digitalization solution to be successful, we need something like quality data. And that is what is missing even from open data sources. And if you look at in a theoretical perspective, larger companies, they have a lot of data compared to smaller companies. And this is where larger companies have kind of an advantage over building all of this in a faster sense. And the next point, cost. This is something that we also debate with our customers, where they're not able to afford the cost into digitalization. And that's something I think Germany or EU in general, it's covering with the different kinds of incentives that they're providing to the companies. And also, to pick up from the conversation, what Mr. Runge said, there is a lack of talent also within EU, which is really true. There are very limited companies that are actually helping push the industry into this kind of if you remember, we already, like a couple of years ago, we talked about Industry 4.0, this kind of industrial revolution. But I still believe Europe is still lagging behind. And that is what we have to first do in this industrial revolution into digitalization, and then build AI tools on top of it. So yeah, that's from my side. Maybe Tim has something to build on top of that.
Indeed. Okay, Tim has a problem with his headset, I guess. I'm sorry, I disappeared for
I'm using another microphone. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
I just wanted to agree with Mr. Mandapati that definitely we're lacking behind. I mean, I'm here based outside of Berlin, and we work with a lot of really small companies, and it's just we have to basically start from scratch with many of these companies. You want to dive in and go and get them set up to work with AI, but these people, they haven't even digitized their paper workflows. So we've noticed this in a few instances where we've come in and we try to implement an HR process that uses AI, and we notice, well, they're still using paper contracts. So we have to, before we even get to that point, start from scratch and get these people on the digitization framework. And a lot of people, as you mentioned before, are not aware of the funding that is available from the EU, from the extra resources. They're not even available for us. I mean, I'm coming to you right now from the content of the Digitalzentrum Berlin, which is from the Mittelstand Digital, which is financed by the Ministry of Economic and Climate Change here in Germany. And even we have to make marketing and get ourselves known, because people don't know that we're actually here to support small and medium-sized businesses. And at the end, I just want to say it is work, like people have to make time, especially the small and medium-sized enterprises. You're talking about maybe the plumber down the road. He's working probably 50 hours a week. He doesn't really have time to optimize his billing because he's just working. He has enough, we don't have enough skilled labor as it is. So to then tell him, okay, you want to actually digitize your billing so we can use AI to maybe automate it in the future. Well, we have to get to that person first to actually see that there's a need to actually automate and digitize. So we're facing a lot of these challenges there, where it is slowly coming. You do have, especially in medium-sized businesses, like 1 or 2 people who are maybe they are the kind of main stakeholder for AI. They kind of take the charge and the internal lead for it. But even there, I mean, it has to, grassroots is great, but it also has to be from the top down. So we have to get the CEOs, the decision makers on board, that it is an important thing, and that there needs to be time, resources, and people dedicated to implementing AI, but even basic digitization processes. So I know we really don't have a lot of time, so I didn't want to say too much. I even had a presentation prepared, but it's okay. Are there any other questions about that?
Well, I think you summed it up pretty well. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Hemant. So you think, do you think such an event, so now, so where we schedule one-to-one meetings between companies, can actually help? Is it something that can work? I mean, now I know that you feel pressure to say yes because you're in the event itself, but do you think it can actually help companies to get at least a first, introduction into what, in this case, AI can do for their businesses?
I just want to say we're already self-selecting ourselves here. We're already here. We already have an interest. We wouldn't be here if we weren't here. And I think, yes, definitely it helps us to get to the next step. But I think we have to get even further out to the general public, to the people that aren't even thinking about it. And that's where, I mean, there's still people out there that don't know what ChatGPT or other chatbots do. So, but yes, everything helps.
Yeah, I totally agree with them. It's like right now, it's also the mindset of the people, especially what I see is people are a bit resistant to change, and that is also what is causing them to even understand what can be done. As Tim gave an example of a person who's working hard every day for maybe 50 hours a week, continuously doing it, he would not even think about getting it optimized, using these kinds of systems to help him. So these are the kinds of people who would not even get to these kinds of one-to-one meetings. So it's like there is a further step somewhere in between to get these people on board, and then this would be really beneficial.
Yeah, thank you. I see there is one raised hand, please.
Yeah, just shortly. I mean, I fully know that we are lagging behind, but the point is also that we have to evangelize. We have to, I know that Mittelstand Digital is doing that a lot. They have already reached out to more than 50,000 companies in Germany. We also, as European entrepreneurs, did something similar with a project called Digitalize SME. Just one example. One cleaning company, thanks to our project, developed together with a digital enabler an application to organize their shifts, which then they started also to sell to other cleaning companies. And now they are on the edge of introducing AI in case that when they have somebody maybe falling ill or some other emergency, they can the AI can automatically reorganize the shifts and propose different solutions and make the work and the chaos that every day happens in service companies much more bearable and of course less costly. And such kind of simple solutions can be applicable to many companies. And of course, maybe then step by step, the processes have to be brought from paper to data. But I think that we are not lost. We can do it. We can do it, and we have many proposals here also to learn about. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. We have one more raised hand from Frederick Martin. Frederick? Maybe it was a mistake. Ah, no, I see. Wow.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Frederick.
Yes, good morning, Julia. Good morning, everybody. So I fully agree with Stefan. The main point is to evangelize, and I would even say it's more than that. It's about inspiring. Whenever we have a change, it was the same with digital or any other change. You have lots of resistance. Why? Because some people are scared. But another point is like politicians, there is a failure to inspire. And in case of AI, what I think is we speak too much of technology, we speak too much of artificial. Who wants to have artificial things when we are humans? So I think there is a work to be done to really inspire from, for instance, how it augments people, how it augments businesses. That's the point. We should speak of augmented intelligence, not artificial intelligence, where we refer too much to the should be transparent. So inspiration is a key, I think. And I think that's where, as Europeans, with our values, and with our creativity, we have a lot to bring in brand new ways.
That actually is a good point, Frederick. The inspiration part, we have built a platform called the DP platform where we put up blueprints for digitization projects that are collected from all the different Digitalzentrum, Mittelstand Digitalzentrums in all of Germany. I'm going to post it again in the chat. Please look through there for inspiration. That is exactly what it is there for.
Great, great. What's the name?
I'm posting it in the chat. I'm posting it in the chat. It's called the DP platform.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Tim. Actually, after the meeting, we can also collect all the links you're sharing and also the slides that we will present later, and we can send everything so everyone has all information. And then if there is a need for any follow-ups, you can either use the platform or just email address.
Yeah, if I may quickly add to what Frederick mentioned, there is still a kind of misconception in the industry that AI is going to replace jobs. And yes, this is kind of a really big misconception. AI should be treated as a tool that helps people make their work better. And more or less, whenever we go to an industry, the main resistance is not from the C-level, but from the operator or the employee level, where they feel that, okay, bringing this is going to maybe remove, get me out of job. And this is something that even as a leader, as a leadership skills, or as a leader, you have to rally the employees behind you and present them with proper insights on what exactly it's going to be for.
I would say our companies complain very much about shortage of labor. Yeah, so they don't find people, and I would say AI, if used well, can help to substitute people you don't find, because you can with one person do maybe the job of two, or even three, or even more,
Exactly.
if well done. Of course, it's not the best solution, not always, but at least it can help to bridge a little bit the problem.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm very sorry because this discussion was getting very interesting and interactive, but we're running out of time. So thank you so much, Hemant. Thank you so much, Tim, for your intervention and contribution. And then I'll leave also your email addresses so that people can get in touch. And also from Hemant, we will hear shortly in depth about his company, so you get more information as well. So thank you both. And well, I give you back the floor, Tommaso, and have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Julian. Thank you very much to Hemant and Tim. It was definitely interesting. Shame we don't has never enough time. So now, without further ado, I will just leave the floor to the companies, which are the main protagonists of this session. So now we move on to our demo session. So we discover different AI solutions. You will now see 5 different companies, which will have 5 minutes each, more or less, to present themselves, what they do, what they offer, and just to give you a little bit of an introduction into the world of AI. And now I will stop talking and will leave the floor to Martin Weiss from Fraunhofer Gesellschaft. I don't know if you have your slides or if we already have them, but Martin, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. So I only will make a live demo. I have no slides. I'm working for Fraunhofer in Germany, but I'm representing here the European AI on Demand platform, which is funded by the European Commission, and it's spread over several projects. So like the AI for Europe project, or also the Deploy AI project. So that there have been, I think, a dozen projects that are connected with this platform. And I am the technical architect of one of the subsystems that is part of the platform, which is called the AI Builder. And this is something that I would like to present now to you. So let me share my screen. I hope you can see my screen now. Did it work?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the AI Builder is a framework to create cognitive architectures from reusable building blocks. So what does that mean? We see that with the advent of large language models and ChatGPT, the large language model alone is not enough. It needs to be combined with other AI technologies to really be helpful in critical applications. So, for example, you need to make sure that it doesn't hallucinate, that there is no hurtful content as input or output. You need guardrails. So this is the area of retrieval augmented generation. For example, there are multimodal models that combine text input and visual input like images or video. And we need to combine several AI technologies together to make real helpful and added value applications. And this is what is meant by the idea of cognitive architectures. You need to combine building blocks. So when we look at the catalog here of the AI Builder, then we see already the different building blocks. So we have nearly 400 now in this catalog. And for example, if we go to one of the models, one of the building blocks. It's like Lego bricks that you combine your AI modules like Lego bricks without coding into AI pipelines, cognitive architectures. And those building blocks are based on Docker containers, so they are quite universally accepted, so that they can be run in different execution environments, and it's like an industry standard. So we have the description, we have a license profile for each of the building blocks. So many of them are, since it is a sponsored, a funded project by the EU, many components are open source, but we definitely support commercial models. So commercial AI module providers can put their models, their products here in this catalog, and can try to find customers. So commercial content, commercial models are definitely possible and very welcome. So to make it possible to create, to connect the building blocks, that there needs to be a technical description of the interfaces. This is done in the universal protobuf format, which is general available and open source. And there can be documents. We have the model artifacts. So on this platform, we only store metadata of the AI modules. We don't store the Docker containers themselves. We don't store data sets. Those are only referenced. So we, for example, here, this is the reference to the Docker container, which is in one of our Docker registries, and it can be any registry that is available. It can even be a private registry that a provider opens only to paying customers. So yeah, we only store metadata. This has also reasons, legal reasons, but also technical reasons, because it's then much easier if the providers want to keep their images up to date. Then there are, of course, author and publisher details. If you want to contact the provider, then that is possible here. So, but the main unique selling point is the Visual Design Studio, where you actually can create module pipelines from those modules. So let's say we want to create an audio processing pipeline here, like we start with audio segmentation. This is one of the modules, and I want to connect it to different models, and I want to see what models are possible. So the Design Studio gives me some hints about what models are possible. So for example, I can add speaker recognition, and now I can connect, and the Design Studio knows which ports match together. So here I can create this connection, and maybe to the other direction, I can start with the data broker. So that's the way to create pipelines. And I want now to switch to a complete pipeline and a short live demo of. No, I don't want to save. So here is a complete pipeline which can solve Sudoku riddles, and I can now deploy this to an execution environment. It can be deployed to a local Kubernetes system that runs inside your company IT, but we have a small public playground where I can deploy it now with one click. So those are different systems. Inside AI Builder, nothing is ever executed. It's only for configuration and the catalog. And now I have here in this execution system, our playground, I can see the pipeline. I run it. So, and then I can connect to the UI container. So we see here now the different containers that we also see here in the topology, and I can connect to the UI. So I'm now really connecting to this container that I just deployed into this execution environment. And I can now fill in my Sudoku
I'm sorry,
numbers.
Martin. I'm afraid I apologize. I have to stop you. Otherwise, we're gonna run out of time. But definitely, I remind everyone, if this is interesting for you, which definitely should be, reach out to Martin for a one-to-one and use our platform throughout the afternoon to get more information, because this is definitely what companies need, as not everyone is a programmer. So this is definitely an interesting tool. Thank you very much, Martin. Sorry for stopping you, but definitely this is
No
something
problem.
extremely interesting.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Moving on, now we have the intervention from SUSITech. So Raquel, I leave the floor to you.
Thank you so much. So I think we have my slides there on the master deck, correct? That can be presented on my behalf.
Yes, coming.
Okay, terrific. Thank you so much.
Here they are.
Terrific. So I will just ask you to advance the slides. Thanks. Thank you so much, everyone. So as we heard from our opening speakers, our world today is one where the vast majority of European SMEs are still untouched by the transformative powers of AI and digital technology, where only a third have begun to really explore these tools, and even fewer, just 12%, tap into big data. And this stark reality contrasts with the digital advancements of larger enterprises, and that gap is only growing wider. And nowhere is this digital divide more apparent than in the SME manufacturing sector, which Hemant had mentioned earlier, where a daily struggle really occurs as our typical manufacturer grapples with a maze of disconnected systems and scattered data related to production. And this not only stifles efficiency, but also burdens workers with those cumbersome, outdated, largely paper-based processes that Tim had mentioned earlier. Next slide, please. So staying analog in a digital world costs dearly, adding layers of inefficiency that compound in loss of productivity, missed market opportunities, and a severe competitive disadvantage. And each day we delay, the digital divide for European manufacturing SMEs grows. Next slide, please, Georgia. For SMEs, the innovator's journey comes with hurdles that need to be overcome, and these include, which were already mentioned earlier, the lack of specialized technical expertise in a job market that favors large enterprise and big technology firms, the reality of limited budgets against the high costs of custom solutions and complex data landscapes, and then, of course, this resistance to change that Hemant had mentioned earlier, which is the lack of clarity around the potential benefits, the perceived risk, and really reluctance to move away from the status quo. This is today's reality, but not tomorrow's destiny. Next slide, please. At SUSITech, we don't just recognize these challenges, we're dedicated to really dismantling them. And our mission is to transform these paper-based chaos into streamlined digital clarity. My name is Raquel, and I am the CEO and co-founder of SUSITech. We are an early-stage software company headquartered in Austria, dedicated to helping SMEs be more innovative and sustainable by making complex production processes visible, configurable, and optimizable by non-technical users. Next slide, please. And our vision is really to place SMEs at the core of green manufacturing by harnessing the industrial data and insight from their end-to-end production data and extending that outward into growing ecosystems of value. Next slide, please. I want to present our first product, which is Dashflow. Dashflow turns your scattered data, industrial data, into coherent digital processes and twins right at your fingertips. So we have 3 tools, the Modeler, Builder, and Hub. They're not just solutions, they're new digital coworkers working for you to illuminate and optimize your production processes. Dashflow Modeler, which is the one I want to focus on today, reduces time and effort to digitalize a production process, saving costs and reducing project risks, while highlighting potential gaps against best practice process flows and standards. Dashflow Builder highlights the actionable opportunities to improve operational efficiency, reduce waste, and increase sustainability in real time, as that's the deployed digital twin. And then the Dashflow Hub brings it all together, reducing the time to data-driven decision and action that is tailored to the user and their role to better manage production cycles against strategic business drivers and performance data. Next slide, please. So Dashflow Modeler works with user-uploaded diagrams, data sources, and images related to a production process, and automatically parses, extracts, and organizes the information into a visually queryable and customizable process flow tailored to the strategic drivers and KPIs of your business. Non-technical users can take advantage of Dashflow Modeler's visual configuration tools, refining the model process to better mirror the physical plant and the physical production line. Next slide, please. Dashflow Modeler's intuitive human-centric design does not need specialized technical skills to learn and use. We help our SME clients save on costs and complexity of deployment through prepackaged solutions and bundles on a subscription basis, reducing the time to value and accelerating ROI. And we're already working with our ecosystem partners to build out a comprehensive data and integration framework that is grounded in real-world use cases. Next slide, please, Georgia. And of course, we can't do it alone. It is really an ecosystem play, and we need your help. So next slide, please. I invite you to join us at this cutting edge of innovation and manufacturing. We have 2 spots left in our early access program for Dashflow Modeler, so please don't miss your chance to redefine what's possible in your operations. This is a 12-week program, which we kick off with an introductory meeting to establish mutual goals and gather relevant sources of process data. This is meant to be a light touch program with weekly 1-hour playbacks to share progress and gather feedback on the application. And at the end of the 12 weeks, we'll hold a final executive playback with your sponsorship where the results and potential ROI are presented to your key organizational stakeholders. So let me wrap up with 3 key takeaways. So Suzy Tech is at the forefront of transforming SME operations by making complex production processes visible and configurable. And second, Dashflow Modeler is really the gateway application that accelerates the digitalization of manufacturing processes without the need for costly solutions, as well as specialized technical skills. And finally, this open invitation for any manufacturing SMEs to be among the select group of forward thinkers to really take Dashflow Modeler through its early paces. Next slide, please, Georgia. So please take advantage of the QR code shown to visit our website or find out more about our early access program for Dashflow Modeler. Together, I believe we can build a sustainable future for European manufacturing. And my thanks to the Digital SME team and our esteemed presenters at the Open for the opportunity to present today. I look forward to hearing from anyone from this call and hopefully collaborating further with some of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Raquel. I think this is precisely what we need. We need this type of collaboration to really move forward our industry. So thank you again very much. And remember, everyone, you can connect with each and every person here through the platform later on to get more information. Now, let's move on to now familiar faces. Herman from Novo AI, please. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Just give me a second. Let me share my screen. Perfect. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Thank you. So yeah, as we had the talk before, I'm Hemant Mandapati. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Novo AI. At Novo AI, we are helping industries evolve, not just through digitalization, but also helping them implement AI-driven workflows into their current operating systems. And if you see, over the past few years, we have observed a trend. Larger companies are able to harness these AI-driven systems and thrive, while SMEs, they're still struggling to do the same. And that actually built our mission to make AI accessible for SME manufacturing sector. Coming to today's challenges, if you look at SMEs, majority of them, they have something called a mixed production, meaning there are machines from different manufacturers, and it makes it really hard for them to connect all the data onto a single platform. And this is resulting in machines not being able to be monitored in real time. And as we all know, AI tools are really beneficial for us. The manufacturing sector is not taking the benefit of it. And coming to the production manager side, they are already overwhelmed with work. And that brings us to today's scenario where production managers, they have no time to monitor all their machines and all their processes. This is leading to inefficiencies, resulting in increasing downtime and also lower production output. We have introduced them to AVA, our acoustic and vibration analyzer. It's a one-of-a-kind sensor module that can be mounted onto any machine. And paired with our Watchman platform, production managers now have complete transparency over their production floor. And at the same time, they can start with AI-driven or data-driven optimization techniques. With our solution, we promise a minimum conversion of 372 hours of downtime into production time, saving companies or increasing the revenue of the companies by about 500,000 euros. And coming to one of our success stories with a company called Diebold from south of Germany, where we have implemented our system in 2022. There, in just 12 months, we were able to increase the productivity from about 30% to 70%, meaning an ROI of 10 times and a saving of more than 500,000 euros for the company in just 12 months. And this is how we do it. We provide users with an AI assistant we call Watchman, where not just an overview, but much in-depth insights on what is happening on each and every machine. And above that, we help them identify the reasons for the downtime. And not just identify, but help them reduce it. And more than that, we provide something called performance analysis. And performance analysis, not just for the machines, but also for the operators. And this is helping companies have upskilling for their employees and operators. And this is kind of our product overview where we provide analytics, AI-based analytics, and we are actually the first to roll out something called Industrial AI Copilot, where users can directly talk to their machines and get a proper response in any format they prefer. Privacy is of our highest priority, where we do not process the user's data on edge or store it, where we process data only on edge, where we do not use cloud computing as of now. And this also helps us keep the pricing at bay. And along with several other tools for energy monitoring or carbon footprint, scheduling, product counting, we provide a suite of features that help companies optimize their production. And so why us? We provide AVA, which is completely process and machine agnostic, meaning it can be mounted onto any machine running any process, along with a Watchman platform, which can integrate even external data sources. Users can now connect, analyze, and optimize their processes in an end-to-end solution. And the results speak for itself. Just last year, we were able to reduce a downtime of 25,000 hours for our customers. And not just reduce it, we were able to convert the downtime into 15,000 hours of production time for the users. And yeah, so that's us. And right now we are looking for network partners who can help excel the transformation of the industry. So thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.
Thank you very much, Herman. Definitely very, very interesting. Again, I remind everyone, you actually should have received a couple of minutes ago the email with your meetings agenda for this afternoon. And again, if in case your agenda is very, very full, remember you can continue using SME2B and you can schedule meetings for the upcoming days or coming weeks. So don't forget to interact. And as you can see, there's plenty of solutions to all of your problems. Now, let's move on to our next speaker. It's Ms. Perales from Microfy Systems and Honey AI. Please, the floor is yours.
Hello. Okay, you have already the presentation. Okay. Now it's not now it's full screen. Okay. So good morning to everybody. My name is Irache Perales and I am the CEO at Microfy Systems. And what we do is affordable automated microscopy solutions that are powered with robotics and artificial intelligence. Next slide, please. In our case, we are targeting the agri-food sector. In this sector specifically, they are using already microscopy because this traditional technique, it is very useful for them to support in R&D activities. Also, they use it for quality control in final products. And also they use it for food security to check about microorganisms and other kind of particles or even any type of bacteria. they use already this technique. The problem, press next. The problem is that this technique is complex and tedious. You need highly trained technicians. Then it is time spent on non-added value tasks, because sometimes it's only to count and classify, and you spend a lot of time, but this is not added value. Then it is prone to human error, because when you are a lot of time doing something that requires very high concentration, then sometimes you can get exhausted and you can do some errors. And then in case that you don't have people in your premises that has this expertise or this time to do these activities, then you have to outsource these activities to a specialized lab. And this is expensive, and sometimes the results are delayed. Next slide, please. So in response to these specific needs, there is already the technique of automated microscopy that allows you to do everything in a fully autonomous way. So it is a machine that works for you by scanning the sample, taking the images and processing them. And it has very different advantages. Next, please. Okay. So the advantage is that it's automated. You already have digital data, so there's no need to do it manually and then transform. Usually it is more accurate than a human, because there is no error for a machine if it is correctly trained and works properly. It is very easy to use because you don't need the expertise of this technician. And usually it is faster than a human, because if you have to count like 100 cells, if you have to do it by human eye, it takes a lot of time, but for a machine, maybe it's only just milliseconds. Next slide. The problem is that all the commercial options that we have available in the market, they are very complex and very expensive, because they have been designed for specific sectors that traditionally they have high purchasing power, like biotech, pharma, and medtech sectors. The price, next, the price usually are ranging between 10,000 and 80,000 euros. Next. So with this budget, is not affordable for the agri-food sector that we are targeting. And next. So that's why systems was created. We created an affordable device specifically trained for agri-food applications. The system, next. The system is very simple, and just press next. Like, okay. It is affordable, it is automated and easy to use. It is plug and play because it already comes to you trained for your specific application, and it is fast. Next. In this case, I present here the first application that we did. This is for the honey industry. In this case, we have a device that has been specifically designed to target many different quality analyses that until now are done manually. So with the same device, all type of honey stakeholders, they can do pollen analysis. That is the picture that you can see in the screen. They can do honeydew analysis, color measurement. They can do yeast concentration for fermentation tracking. Also, they can measure conductivity, and they can do crystallization rate. Next slide, please. Then also we have two different business applications for the fermentation monitoring sector. The first one is Fungi AI. This is for mycelium tracking. You can see a very short video about what we do. So in case that you have to track how the mycelium grows over the time for your R&D teams, we can do it continuously with the hardware and the software that we have in the cloud. And also we have another application, which is Ferment AI, that is for alcoholic beverages. So instead of having a technician counting yeast and checking which of the yeast are already alive and which are dead, so to better monitor your fermentation process, it is done fully with the device and the software in the cloud. Next slide. Our business model is the same for all the applications that we have. We first sell the device upfront with a very affordable price. For honey, for instance, is 4,000 euros. And then for fungi, which is a more complex microscope, it is less than 10,000 euros. And then depending on the use that the client is going to do, we have a pay-per-use or a monthly subscription, but still is much cheaper than an external laboratory or even a technician doing manual work. Next slide. So at the end, what we have is different hardware that we can adapt to different applications. So we can adapt upright and inverted microscope. We have different magnifications. For instance, if you want to check texture, you will work at 410 objective. But if you want to go to yeast or bacteria monitoring, then you have to go from 40 to 100 objectives. Then we can work in bright field, phase contrast, polarizer, and soon we will work in fluorescence. And at the end, we can have two different microscopes. If you want to go to cheaper version, you can go with a microscope that is connected to your laptop. And then also we can have the standalone version. The prices are always between 5,000 and 10,000. So it's still very versatile and very affordable for the agri-food sector. Next slide. Here, if you press one, you just press next. Here you can see how some applications as an example about what we do. So we can do cell counting, we can do yeast count and viability, we can measure particle dimension, for instance. This is something that with human eye is extremely difficult, but if you want to check the dimension of a specific object that you have in the sample, we can do it very fast. Also, we can measure texture, as you can see in the screen. We can do object detection and classification. In this case, in the image, you can see pollen classification, and we can do growth, time-lapse analysis over time to measure any growth during minutes, hours, days, according to your needs. Next slide. And then what we are looking for now is clients for the products that we already have in the market. Then also we are currently doing some fundraising. And then finally, we are always looking for partners that they have other use cases in mind. Because now we have the hardware and we have the software, but we are always looking for other potential use cases that we can automate together, and then we can launch it into the market. And that's all. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Iracha. Definitely interesting. As you can all see, no matter your industry, there's always a solution to your problems or to problems that you didn't even know you had. So moving on to the next last speaker for this session. Now we have Rofintech 3D. And Mitchell, the floor is yours.
Hello and good morning to everybody. Thank you for the invitation to present Rofin. Will you move the slides, or I should share my screen? Okay, that's fine. So the main difference between Rofintech 3D and the other companies presented here is that we are not one product company. We are a solution provider. So we actually use the AI as a tool. As Herman mentioned, AI is a tool. Of course, we have other tools on our table, but AI is probably the most important. So we partnered with robot system integrators, with ERP integrators and other companies to provide complex solutions to our final customers. And here I show you the main industry we have experience with. Industry, photonics, cybersecurity, and medicine. Our main expertise in computer vision, but not only, we also provide AI solutions for data analysis, regressions, predictions, and so on and so forth. Next slide, please. So I give you a couple of examples on industrial space. We have partners in robotics industry. We provide them the software for pick and place processes, but also for product recognition. We have a customer that on their conveyor belt comes around 700 different products, and they have to input that into their ERP system. So we Rofintech developed a technology that is able to recognize all these 700 different products and provide that information for the ERP systems. Of course, we provide also other customers with defect detection, very important for quality control, and also for monitoring the PLC equipment. Next slide, please. In photonics, actually, that was our first application many years ago. We developed fiber laser simulators, and now in the recent years, we developed a system for identifying the defects on optical fibers. And then also we have, we used to have, well, it was a project on laser shock pinning for a company in France. Next. In cybersecurity, we have been approached by a company that was working in identifying the possible viruses in edge computing. There are manufacturing sites with hundreds of edge computing devices, and keeping them clean is not an easy task for a standard antivirus software. So we work with this customer to develop a software able to detect malicious sections in the files by using AI. So we developed the AI part of this detection. Then on a medical domain, could you keep, yes, that one? Very briefly, we work more on the R&D area. We developed together with a partner in the medical domain, an application able to reconstruct the 3D image of mandibula using ultrasound imaging. And also we have experience in detecting various anomalies tissues in medical imaging. Okay, and then the last slide. Until now, we have been working with many customers, but also we have received funding from various European projects, BOE, Starway, and Pulsate. And well, we are. I just want to finish with a comment that the demand from economical area, industry and non-industry, is constantly growing in for systems involving AI. Actually, they don't need AI as such. They don't ask for AI, but to be able to fulfill their demands, you need to use AI. So coming to the comment that AI will not decrease the amount of job requires, what I see is the demand in AI talent is growing constantly. So actually, it's a huge demand for AI talent. So it's just a shifting of talents needed in industry, not necessarily a decrease of jobs on the economical market. Last slide, please. So if you want to contact me, feel free to write me an email. I will be happy to be in contact with you. Thanks again for the opportunity, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Extremely interesting. Now, I think we're getting to the end of this very definite interesting webinar. Before I let you all go for like a short break before the beginning of the matchmaking sessions, I would like to let you know about a very interesting initiative called AI Challenge 2024, which is organized by the EIT Manufacturing. And this initiative is basically an initiative that promotes cross-sectoral collaboration to speed up the development and implementation of, indeed, AI technologies for creating more efficient and sustainable resilient systems. So imagine it as kind of like a bigger, larger version of this event, but in the form of a challenge. So with a prize where SMEs and software providers can match depending on their needs, on their ideas, to come up with a solution, and then the most innovative, the most interesting will receive a prize. I will keep it short because I think we already went over time. You can find the link in the chat. And if you have any questions, please refer to Adrian Bablok, who's the project manager, responsible person for this initiative, who is also participating, so you can reach out to him through email, or you can also organize a nice short meeting later on today to understand more about this initiative. So before closing, I will let Giulia take the floor to thank everyone.
Thank you so much, Tommaso. Well, first of all, I hope this event was helpful for everyone to get a little bit of a grasp of what is out there in terms of AI solutions. In particular, the European Digital SME Alliance, we represent SMEs in the ICT sector. So I was very happy to see so many innovative companies that hopefully, and that's what we are advocating for, are driving the digitalization of the European industry. So thank you so much for all the companies that presented. Thank you so much to Mr. Runge for the presentation, for the keynote, and for explaining us what the Commission is doing. And also thank you to Tim Neunzing and Hemat Mandapati for the discussion we had. We have more events coming up in the next months. You will receive an email with all the information soon, I guess, after the summer break. So stay connected, and I hope you have a nice one-to-one meetings. If you have any technical issues or anything, we are available. There is an email address that you can contact, and we try to solve them. Hopefully there aren't, but you know, life sometimes doesn't work out. So thank you so much. Thank you so much also to Tommaso and Stefan for accompanying us today throughout the event. And have a nice day.
And thanks to you, Giulia, and the whole European Digital SME Alliance.